What are the silverbacks?
Please fasten driver seat belt.
Our logo, you see it blue. We call him Blue the Gorilla.
Yeah.
He got his eyes blacked out. He don't see no evil, hear no evil. He's here to do a job.
Dre, Big H y Triple C.
Because at the end of the day, I'm a king. And when I leave it, and when I take this uniform off, motherfuckers still gonna love me for who I am.
The silverbacks are what? They're a group.
It's a mentality.
Yeah.
And it's the guys we came up with.
Silverback Chronicles todos los lunes en todas plataformas.
Yo, my peoples, what's up? We back. It's your boy, Silverback Chronicles Podcast. It's your boy, Big H. I got my brother, Dre.
Sir, yes, sir. You know what to say. What's good, though?
What's good, bro?
Chilling.
World, we back. It's episode 118. We are working. We're working hard. I want to give a shout out to everybody that's working hard. I don't care. A special shout out to our first responders and medics, fire department, especially our social workers and therapists. We appreciate you.
They're busy right now.
You guys do a phenomenal job.
After post-COVID?
Right. And we love you dearly. So you keep working hard, babies. Don't forget the website, www.silverbackchronicles.com for the latest merch. What else, Dre?
You know, I'm on this beard kick.
You got it going, bro.
I mean, it's luscious.
You're taking it serious.
I'm not playing.
I'm proud of you.
Got the oils?
Yeah, but even better, man, I got a whole kit. Shout out to the beer goddess.
Yes.
She came through, gave us the whole kit.
Okay.
Do you roll them?
No, it's just all stuff is made out of fruits.
Like
if
coming
you
to
smell
America?
it smells like, yeah.
Like nothing but fruits and berries.
Right, juices and berries.
Exactly.
Without the ponytail.
Yeah. Make it nice, and neat.
Right.
No, but you can get her stuff at the sureffect.com. And, you know, soft, shiny, all that.
Feels good.
Well, thank you. My joint was a little less than that, but then now,
You worked on it.
yeah, I worked on it. You know, you got the natural genetics.
No, so I got the Soul Glow shit.
There you go.
I'm on my Daryl shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I ain't put the looks.
You the Prince of Soul Glow?
Right. Absolutely.
The Surf Fact. We love you. Thank
We
you.
love you guys. But with no further ado, we got a special guest tonight, ladies and gentlemen. A fellow brother in blue. He's got 18 years on. He's another detective. He serves very well. And he's going to tell the world about what he does and how he does it. And the passion, the love for what we do. And why he does it. What's his why? Just like our why. And with no further ado, ladies and gentlemen, our special guest tonight, the one and only. How you want me to bring it to you, baby?
However you feel it.
However
However
I
it comes
feel
out. Yeah, however it comes out.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only, the red carpet. Mr. Kilpatrick is in the building tonight. My brother, what's up, baby?
Not much, man. I don't know how to follow all that. Right? That's that's a professional level stuff.
Kilpatrick.
That is tough to follow. You guys should be like NBA announcers.
I appreciate you, bro.
Like Marv Albert.
Yeah, that was tough to follow.
I'll be Charles Barkley.
Yeah. You're gonna threaten to fight the
Right.
Warriors fans.
Yeah, right? So, bro, where you from, born and raised?
So I was born in Memphis, Tennessee.
Really?
I did not know that.
Yeah, so I was born in Memphis and lived there until I was in the 6th grade. And then came here in the 6th grade. So yeah, when I got here, I got beaten out of my Southern accent, right? You know,
Yeah.
you come here and you're saying y'all and fixing to and stuff like that.
Didn't last long.
Oh, kids just were brutal, man. Like usually fixing to, like, hey, I'm fixing to go inside.
Oh.
And they'd be like, okay, like just go do it. You know, and they would just clown the hell out of you. So it's like to the point where I just have none of that left. Like that's gone. I mean, I'm 44 now.
What made you come? What made the family come up to Baltimore?
So my mom got divorced from my stepfather, and she got transferred up here, and my brother and I moved up here with her, and My mom and I are still here. My brother's in DC. So,
Okay, nice.
But yeah, no, it's I mean, it's definitely a place you learn to love, right? Baltimore is definitely that place.
It's a special place.
Yeah,
It is.
It really is.
and it's
That's why there's so many different people here from different states.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I think like one of the guys from The Wire said it's like tough but kind kind of
It
thing.
is. It
Yeah,
is.
it's like tough but kind. Like that's a real decent way to describe
It
it.
is.
Like it's definitely acquired.
It really is. Definitely. But we've grown to love it. I'm fully embedded in Baltimore. I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
I'm a lifer.
Yeah, this state is dope. You know, we always talk
Maryland
about
is
this
amazing.
state.
Yeah.
You know, especially us being from New York. It's like, oh, New York, but like this place offers a lot in like a small little area. You know.
Yeah, and like you said, there's people from everywhere.
Everywhere.
It's definitely like a melting pot, kind of like New York,
Yeah,
It is.
but
definitely.
not as congested and not as
I feel like the people that stay
Busy.
here like understand like the would you say the tough but kind
Mhm.
concept?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people come in and they don't understand that like, oh, you know, it's Baltimore, I can't do this. And the people that stay like grown to love it, like, yeah, it's dope because of, you know, X, Y, and Z.
I think if you look at it, just like everything nowadays, if you look on the news over the past, like that's all people see of Baltimore, and that's just not Baltimore.
No, it's not.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That is a very good point.
They want to, you know, the news always, I guess they twisted to be, it's really bad, it's horrible, but it's not. It's just like every other inner city, unfortunately. There's going to be violence. There's certain pockets where there is violence, but the city itself is beautiful.
If you know how I know Baltimore's like still, you go down to Harbor East, they still building.
Right.
They
They're building a lot.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
The bank must done their research and say, you know what?
Absolutely.
There's a lot of people moving here. Because the bank ain't gonna give you money knowing they're gonna lose. They're gonna give you money knowing like this is gonna come right back.
Right.
And they haven't even built the other side yet, Port Clements, and that's gonna be
Exactly.
crazy too.
That's why I'm fully invested in Baltimore, because it's turning around. It really is.
Look what they did with
We love it.
DC. I mean, DC was the same way.
Yeah, it's the murder capital.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
In like 0203.
and now they've completely changed it around, and people are paying, I mean, top dollar to live down in areas that no one wanted to live before.
Yeah, I'm still not gonna move there, but
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
Definitely not.
I can't. Yeah, I don't know.
I couldn't afford it. It's expensive.
Yo, it's really expensive.
crazy.
It's like just say a small house. Like this should be a small home, but not even just this portion of the house would be a small home in DC. Costs over $1 million easily.
Yeah, it's expensive.
It's ridiculous.
I won't put my brother out
And
there,
it's
but I
too
know he
random.
paid a lot of money to live in his tiny house.
Yeah, that shit is
Your
bad.
house is like
It's too random for me too.
Right. Like not even close to the square footage here at all. Just a portion, and you're gonna pay. But you know, to each his own. You still got a lot of family in Tennessee?
So no, so my father passed away in 2007.
Sorry to hear that. Condolences.
Yeah, appreciate it. I mean, unfortunately we weren't crazy close, but you know, he got one of those back then. Remember like super bugs? Like people get those like anti-resistant bugs in the hospitals and stuff, and it would like kill people. Anyway,
Oh damn.
he got one of those, and
Yeah, like those viruses.
yeah,
that float in the
it
air.
just took him out, and it was kind of
That's real deal.
unexpected. But yeah, no, it was. So my stepbrothers that I had still live there. Not close. We don't communicate. So most of my circle is all here, other than my brother. So this is my place to stay for an eternity. It
Just
seems
riding it
like.
out, baby.
Yeah, man, it's nothing. My wife is deeply rooted here. Like her family is from Howard County, and they're never leaving. So it means I'm never leaving.
Yeah, you ain't going nowhere.
No.
Yeah.
So
I know Memphis got some good music.
yeah.
Wow.
I remember back in the day, man, when the pyramid there was actually used for, college games, and now I don't know if they would use it for really nothing.
What's the pyramid?
They have a huge pyramid. It's it's a life-size mirrored, like real life mirrored pyramid. They turn into a convention center.
Oh,
And
shit.
like back in the day, they used to play like the Memphis basketball team played in there. It was massive, man. It was, but now I don't even know who plays there anymore. It was massive, man. It was.
Oh wow.
So like I remember that was like a big deal when I was a kid. They built that, and But yeah, the music. When my father was really ill, my wife and I would go down and visit him, like, and taking her to Beale Street and Mud Island and all those places and seeing the pyramid and yeah, man, it's, you gotta find a good in wherever you go.
Right.
And
Yeah, absolutely.
Memphis is definitely that kind of place
They
too.
get busy like Baltimore too, as far as like violence and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They're busy down there. Shout out to those cops.
Barbecue is fire down there.
Yeah. So it's crazy, man. When I moved down, when I would go visit my father, they had like Maryland chicken down there, and I remember thinking like
Maryland chicken.
Maryland chicken, like. Yeah, but I mean the barbecue is.
What's Maryland chicken?
I have no idea. It was a chicken place.
How about like Royal Farms?
What's
Yeah,
the name of it?
Yeah, it was just Maryland. Yeah, they sold like Royal Farms chicken.
Yeah,
and
just like they got Brooklyn chicken down here.
Yeah, I'm like,
It's
I
New
didn't really,
York. Then.
Yeah, that's always
right.
Yeah, but Maryland chicken, I didn't realize.
Yeah, that doesn't even
right in
sound
Memphis. It's like okay,
right. Like
Yeah.
doesn't go together.
it's like,
Yeah.
are you
You
kidding
got a
me?
fucking crab cake, no doubt.
Right.
No,
Then
I
we're
get it.
talking.
Then we talking.
Like barbecue
Right.
and then crab cake. But like
Absolutely.
barbecue and Maryland chicken, you guys ain't even known for that. We're known for crabs.
Yeah, that was wild. But yeah, I remember going to visit them. Like, nah, this ain't that's not Maryland. Like so, but yeah, the barbecue down there. You go to a gas station and get fire barbecue.
Shout out to shout out to Memphis PD, yo. Send us package
Send a
that up
place.
nice.
Send a place,
Send us 3 pages
Right.
to us.
Man, that was I don't know. I had a good shot at down there though.
All right, so how was things when you got to Maryland? You said you moved when you were 6, right?
Yeah, so 6 years old. Came up here with my mom, my brother.
Are you the oldest or the youngest?
I'm the oldest.
Nice.
So he's he's the youngest, and he got treated like the youngest. You
Oh
know.
shit!
So-
Yeah, you was on your bully shit, huh? I'm mad at you.
Nah, he got babied. He got babied. So, but nah. So we just lived here.
It's all good.
So good.
It's only ice, bro. It's ice.
Yeah, I get it.
So been here ever since, man. Little stint in Delaware where I moved out. Before I became a cop, I did loss prevention, right?
Delaware, huh?
So I did loss prevention for Hex. That's how old I am. And now it's Macy's,
Nice.
right? So I did that, and for a year I lived in Delaware because they needed help with us. I was a security manager. I traveled around, did employee theft interviews. I thought I was like the coolest dude in the world, right?
Nice.
And then buddy of mine, Sekou. I mean, I wouldn't be a cop without him. He was like, "Nah, man, this is you can do more."
Mm.
And he came to me and was like, "You gotta check this out," because we were security together. I mean, we've been friends since we were 17, and he was like, "This is the place." He's like, "This is where your growth will occur, and this is where you'll be able to, I don't know, excel a little bit."
Was he older than you?
We're the same age, but he left.
Oh, you just
So when he became a cop before I did, and I was like, I don't know, man. Like I
What
never.
jurisdiction can you say?
He's county, yeah.
Oh, he's
He's county, yeah.
Oh wow.
He's still on too.
Still on,
Nice.
yeah. Still friends to this day, man.
Shout out to him.
Right.
Yeah,
Say
Sekou
cool.
Hinton, man. He's the real one.
That's what's up.
Wow.
He I wouldn't, did some ride-alongs with him. I wasn't like one of those. I don't know how you guys were, but I wasn't one of those people that was like, I just want to be a cop. Like, I want to be a cop. I want to be a cop. That was never me.
Mm.
And he was like, man, you're good at this. You do,
You do it every day.
yeah, check it out, right?
Right.
So I did a couple ride-alongs, breezed through my, everyone's like about, oh, it's hard to become a cop, like da-da-da-da. I mean, I went through my first time and never had a problem and never looked back, man. It was, but again, like
You fell into it.
yeah, and I just loved it, man. From the day I did it, I was like, I don't know, like you hear that cliche, like, why'd you become a cop? Oh, it's like to do good work. And then when you realize, like, you have that option to do good work, you're like, it's not just a cliche, right? It's not
Right.
just that, like, I can actually do some stuff that matters to people.
100%.
And that was the thing that that kind of just really sold me on it. And I fell into, so my mom will probably kill me for this, but I don't care. So my mom got, she struggled with a little bit of drugs here and there. She's been clean for a long time. And
God bless her. Shout
Yeah.
out to moms.
yeah, with that is a blessing every day because
Absolutely.
it's good for my kids to see and all that. So I really fell into drug work, man. I really found a niche for it, and that's just kind of the path I went on, even as patrol. Like if I made a traffic stop, I was looking for drugs.
Yeah.
But I treated it with the same compassion that I would want someone to treat my mom with.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And
Okay.
that was just kind of how I looked at it. And I spent 13 years in narcotics because of it. And then So, but yeah, no, man, it's it's a journey, man. You can look one day and you're, writing tickets. Next thing you know, you're doing a totally different detail because that's where they just decided you were best for the department and best for the people.
Mm-hmm.
So
in the drug work game, any big seizures?
So
you can remember?
So I kind of always related my drug seizures or my investigations to like impact, right? So obviously the gun trace task force, huge impact.
How was that for you? When that came on your table, what was that for you? Like, do I really got to go and try and get this guy?
So what was weird about so as a Baltimore County narcotics cop, like, and I know they talk about this in the book, right? In Justin's book, but it was real life, right? If Jenkins or Gladstone brought you a case, like, you knew to scrutinize it. So when
on your side, you saying
in Baltimore County,
because you knew it was dirty.
Yeah,
that was like the reputation.
That was the reputation. Wow. So anything from their squads. So it was the reputation of, this is gonna be sketchy, this is gonna be weird, and people would have run-ins with them. Like, I didn't have it because I wasn't in our gun seizure unit, but there are people that after it came out were like, oh man, I remember this case where, we couldn't find a gun and then we searched under the bed, and they'd be like, oh, yeah, there's nothing up there. And I'd be like, oh, he'd be like, let me go look. And then next, there'd be a gun under the bed. It's like, well, we didn't miss that. It'd be like, they had to have planted it. And there'd be times where they would be searching a storage locker and be like, hey, we're here and we're already searching this locker, which is obviously a violation of policy, but they wanted to get in there first. So little things that just came up as clues that, so initially when we first started the gun trace task force, they weren't really on the radar, other than the jail call, which Justin talks about in the book, and it comes up in the show a little bit, where I was listening to jail. So I was, so I worked in the East Squad, which was dismantling drug trafficking organizations. So we would do our best to put drug trafficking organizations together. So we were obviously looking at Shropshire, and I would listen to his jail calls, right? I'm weird in the fact that, like, I want to know where they live. I want to know their kids' names.
You want to know everything.
Yeah, I would kill them on social media.
I was the same way.
And I would create like flowcharts and stuff. And, so I'm listening to jail calls. I want to see who he talks to. He's incarcerated. Like, who are his go-tos? And he's talking to Gun Wells, and they're talking about like, oh yeah, Jenkins really gave me an earful. And he was telling me that, like, we need to change up our phones, we need to change up our cars. He knows we can't mess with him because of G, but talking about Gondo. But, like, I didn't know who Gondo was at that time. And I played that call for, like, city cops that were in task force with us. And they were like, oh, that's just him. He's posturing, or they're just out to get him. And I'm like, listen, man, I don't care what anybody says. It sounds dirty. And even Erica Jensen, when we got to that part, she's like, no, he's aggressive. He's just an aggressive cop. He gets a bad reputation. I'm like, no, he's dirty. So, like, initially they weren't really on. Gondo was on the radar because we had toll records and things like that. But Jenkins, as you saw from the show in the book, like, he's not even on Gun Trace Task Force when we start this whole investigation. So it was wild, man. It's been a crazy ride.
I bet.
I can imagine.
Was you there the day he got placed in custody?
No. So the weird part is that we were kind of shut out, right? So we go in, and as the wire progresses and we start to get information, leaks start happening, and they start on the wire and on things like it starts leaking back that there's a federal investigation against them, and the Fed's resolution to that was to cut us all out. So we didn't know it was going to be taken down. We didn't know who was arrested. We never knew what they seized. They refused to give any information outside of their circle. So we were not present for any of that. I honestly found out about it on the news. And that was kind of how they treated us along the way, like we didn't belong. The sergeant was decent.
No one knew. Yeah.
Yeah, the sergeant from that was, what's his, Saraki, or he was awesome. And there was a guy that they don't talk about. His name is Matt Smith. I don't know if you guys know Matt Smith. He was assigned to that task force also.
Mm-hmm.
They don't mention him at all, but he was really the one. Oh, I'm sorry, brother. He's really the one that we first liaisoned with. He's a city cop, and he was assigned to that task force.
Really?
And they don't talk about him at all in anything. Now, Matt might have been at his request, but yeah, no. I mean, he was the one that was he was just a good dude, man. And he retired right after this.
That was it.
It was it, man. He got us. He went out.
Imagine.
Enough was enough.
But yeah, now they cut us out. But it was at the moment, man. You know how it is. You guys know when you're chasing something, man, and it's yours. It's your baby, and you want anybody taking that from
so
you.
Important,
you know, and you don't want anybody messing up your hard work. And
right.
that was really kind of how it all felt. And they made us feel. And then for so long, our chief before our new chief, I wasn't allowed to talk about it. I wasn't allowed to do interviews. I couldn't talk about it. I couldn't do anything. And then when our new chief came in, she was like, no, like we did a positive thing. Let's talk about it. And she was the reason why I was finally able to talk to Justin. So there's a lot of reasons why there's no articles about me. There's no, I mean, short of the book, you don't even know prior to that. You don't even know a lot that I even really existed because I was not allowed to discuss it. Like, McDougal, man, he won like Deputy of the Year. You know?
Yeah?
Oh yeah, he got a trip to Orlando with his family to go to Disney. Oh, McDougal, man, he got but that's what happens when your sheriff is elected. Right, so they let him, you know. And honestly, I mean, I joke with McDougal, man, and I wish he could be here because that dude is one of the smartest human beings on this planet.
Really?
Yeah, he is. I mean, obviously.
The way he pieced it together?
Well, no, not just that. Like, so in the federal system, you can only have someone who's federally sworn write an affidavit, which he was part of a DEA task force. So his name is the one on the affidavit. His name's the one on everything, but just smart writing. Level-headed. He's a sergeant now. I mean, he's a smart dude, man. He was definitely. I've done 4 wiretaps as an affiant. Definitely one of the best.
Wow.
So, and I've done actually another wire with Hartford County sheriffs that wasn't him. He's still one of the best. Wow. So, but he's a legend, man.
How much? Well, I have so many questions. Do you have anything?
No, go ahead, bro.
Like, all right, so from beginning to end, how long did this take? The whole investigation, how long did it take?
So 2012 is when we really started seeing Antonio, Shropshire, Twan, and Munch and their phone numbers they used popping up on everybody we went to. So we used to have this sergeant, and his big thing was, your first question was always, who's the biggest drug dealer you know? And it was always Bro. So Bro came under the radar, and that's just pretty much, we just dove into Brill. The problem is you go to buy from Brill, someone different would show up. Then someone different. His dad would show up.
Wow. So
it got to a point where we had to really kind of change our tactic on how, and we started up in the ante. How can we get Brill out? How can we get the real Brill out? Because he's not going to want to trust an underling with a large weight. So we would continue to just keep pushing. Eventually we got him out, and you know, like drug dealing is ebbs and flows, right? So there'd be times where he would just take over because he wanted all the money. He didn't want to split it with anybody, and just kept going at him. And the weird part about it is, man, no one wanted to flip on him because he was, you know, in a world of overdoses, he was the guy who sold good stuff. He didn't step on it. He didn't mess with it. And he was actually, listen, this is going to sound crazy coming from me, but he was a good businessman. Like, he treated that like a business. If you didn't like your product, he'd find a way to make it right. He was just a good businessman, and it was hard for people.
Right, you know, it's the truth. Growing up,
there's movies about like drug dealers being the best businessmen of their time.
Yeah, I mean, he was. You know, I haven't read his book, but I don't know if he
has a book.
He wrote a book, right? It's called the Real Shropshire Story. And again, God bless him, man. None of this is personal. I hope he makes
It's all business, yeah.
Yeah, I hope he makes a killing off of it, right? I mean, he's in prison, good for his family, his son, they call Tone, who, he's grown up without a father. His wife Kelly, or girlfriend Kelly, like, as far as I know, she still owns her hair salon, and I hope he makes. But then the thing, I mean, he pretty much, called me a fat kid chasing candy kind of thing, which is fine. I mean, I'm a chubby fellow. What can I say, right? So, but no, he was. It's weird to say it, but he was a likable guy.
He's a gentleman.
Yeah, he was a likable guy, man, and he writes in the book about how, so we were up on the wire, he thought he got an STD. And he was like, itching and burning. Like, he was like, all he would talk about, like, I got to go to the doctor.
Dirty dick.
Right, yeah. So he was like, so when we went to lock him up, I was like, man, you made me laugh every time you would get on that wire and talk about your dick burning. And he was like, so in his book, apparently he writes about that, how he was like, I couldn't even be mad because it was funny.
Yeah.
And
he probably busted out laughing. He said, these motherfuckers listen.
well, he used to always say too, he'd be like, whenever, and again, you listen to his jail calls and you start to pick up like, like this slang and his things.
Pick up everything, mannerisms, how to conduct himself.
So he used to always say when people were embarrassed, he'd be like, oh, his face looks big as shit. He was like, oh, his face looking big as shit. Right? So when we locked him up, it was like, oh man, your face looking big as shit. And he was like, he just started shaking his head and laughing. And I mean, again, it was hard. Like, we just, the whole way down, we just talked. I mean, he bribed us with, and all that, which is, a part of the story, But I'm like, you got the wrong people here, but we just talked the whole way, man. Like, he was likable.
And that's like what a lot of people misunderstand about like real police work, and also like real criminals, or just people that are just selling drugs, is that you get those relationships that, he's a gentleman, I'm a gentleman, and this is, I got a job to do, you got a job to do, and today I caught you.
It's a cat and mouse game.
But the public thinks like, and it's like, it's not like that. Like, they understand what they're doing.
Oh yeah.
We understand what we're doing, and it's like you come to that day, you have a mutual agreement of like, you got me, man, good job.
Yeah, and he was accustomed to a world where he was going to get out of it, right? When we finally told him it was federal, he knew he was done.
Right.
And he didn't know about Gondo, Ram, and all those other guys when we approached him, but he knew. You could tell his tone changed when I was like, oh yeah, by the way, he's Hartford County and he's on a DA task force and he'd be in charge federally. And he was like,
he did the math. He was like, wait,
task
force.
Yeah, he was like, oh, okay. Like, cause he was used to this world where, he would not get charged, or for whatever reason, he would get caught with a large amount and nothing would happen. And,
he had good lawyer money.
Nah, he had good, how, I mean, if you don't deal with informants, but there's a ton of times that people come to you and be like, hey, this person says they work for you. And you're like, all right, man, hold off charging him. I'll have him work his charges off. That's what I think was happening, is people, he was reaching out and people were vouching for him, and he wasn't working shit off. They were just, buying time so he could do more. But yeah, man, like, I really wish in the show they talked about the time that we introduced an undercover to him, and he bought a hook, line, and sinker and sold this undercover drugs. And Neil Miranda, state trooper, man, he's fantastic. And the second time he caught on, and he was like, wait, he was good, man. He would stop. He'd check tag numbers. He'd check cars. He'd remember seeing them prior on a buy. I mean, he was just smart. And the second one, he saw a car that he saw the first time. It was like, what are the odds in that? And he just drove off. He didn't care about not making that sale, which is weird for drug dealers, right?
Right.
Man, they get that sale. They sale, it's money in pocket, right? They're taking it. They're running their chances. Right. Brill would cut bait anytime, man. It wasn't worth it to him. It wasn't worth it to him to make that dollar. His freedom was more important. Just brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Well, it comes with the game.
Because, I mean, those guys play the game at the highest.
At the highest. And
you can't even, like you said, can't even be mad at that.
No, he was
being smart.
Yeah, he was. Listen, it took me a long time, and these people are retired now, but there were a lot of supervisors within the Baltimore County Police Department that did not want us going after Brill because he was in the city selling drugs. It took a lot of mapping through his phone records, through his, who lived in Baltimore County, like how many people he was selling to Baltimore County, all their non-fatal overdoses. It took a long time to really map that out. And had it not been for Hartford County coming forward and having that fatal overdose with Jamie Ludlow, like we would have never gone up. The Baltimore County was adamant that we were not going to go up on them. Really good friend of mine, Joe Grant, like he's retired now. I was a time where I took a hiatus off the case and went to a street level unit for a year. I just needed some change, and Joe Grant kept chasing them. And, we just kept grinding, man. They're just good.
That's amazing.
So, yeah.
How much work does the counties really see coming out of the city? Like, or is it like, the county's getting somebody, there's a plug in the county, there's a plug, or is it that it's really coming from the city?
So I think that like the days of there being like the guy are over. Right. So you could have a plug here, a plug there, a plug wherever, because it's just so easy to get that work, right? Like they can get it, like you can go get a half key somewhere, step on it and make it a key, and all of a sudden you're the guy because you have a kilo. Right. I just think that those days are, we see it on investigations and wires we've done before. When you start your investigation, because wiretaps are hard to get, right? They take a long time. So, you could have one dealer starts the investigation, and by the time you're up, they got an entirely different dealer, and you're kind of changing your game. So yeah, it changes. I think that, I think we'd all like to say, oh, it comes out of the city, and it may, but there's just as many drug dealers in Baltimore County as there are in Baltimore City.
It's just a different type of drug.
Yeah, and there's people in Baltimore County aren't slinging it on corners, right? They're selling it through, other means, or, because generally people know that if you get caught in Baltimore County, well, not anymore, but back in the day, you were in trouble as opposed to the city.
Absolutely.
So, they wouldn't come out here. They would just live out here.
Right. Right.
And that's the thing I was remember.
You're so smart about that too.
I remember when I first started, people would be like, oh, this is where he lives. Like we were going to hit his house. I'm like, why? I'm like, no self-respecting drug dealer lives in the county, keeps drugs in their house.
Right.
I remember like new guys who'd be like, oh, I wrote a warrant for his house. I'm like, well, that's the reason I keep his money. I'm like, no, his money will be at his girlfriend's house, not the house he lives with his wife.
Rookie.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Because his wife thinks he's swapping out mufflers and Pep Boys or some shit.
Yeah. He's in the import-export business.
Right. Oh, that's so funny.
Damn, so 18 years, man.
That's a lot of experience.
What was that like? How do you feel? Do you think time just went by fast?
Time went by really fast. And honestly,
it's like a blink of an eye.
Yeah. It's
especially when you're having fun, right?
Yeah. So for a long time, this was fun. And it's still fun. And that's why I changed. So I had to go from, I think that I realized we're not going to arrest our way out of the war on drugs. Right. So, marijuana was starting to kind of really become, virtually legalized. So it's like that was always your gateway to get into people's houses,
100%.
right? And now that
everyone smokes.
Yeah, even law-abiding citizens.
Yeah, teachers.
Right, yeah. Lawyers, judges.
The girls that do hair.
Yeah. So that was like your gateway in, and that kind of got to the point where I'm like, well, if the legislator doesn't care about it, like, why am I like what? There's got to be something better. Baltimore County Sex Crime Unit had just been sued for failure to do proper investigations. They were rebuilding it. Lieutenant reached out and was like, hey, how about sex crimes? I'm like, let's go. Yeah. I felt like, I had real victims. I could do real work, help some things. And
definitely.
I had no idea how busy they were. I made more money I did 2 wiretaps in 1 year. I made more money doing sex crimes work and getting called in than I did the year I did 2 wiretaps.
Wow. Damn.
So I I went back to having real victims, and now I'm in crimes against children where you got real victims, and the war on drugs was fading away. But yeah, 18 years, if you mix it up and it'll fly by, man, and
Seriously.
The hardest part I think is the best part as I get older, I realize that none of this, easy to say, none of it's personal. But like I told you guys before we started, I today, rapist, I found not guilty by a jury. And it's baffling for me at times to figure it out, but that's due process, and you got to go with it, and you just can't. It's not personal, right? The jury didn't find that person not guilty because of Scott Kilpatrick, right? They review all the facts. So
Right.
I think as I get older, it becomes a little bit easier, and it makes it go a little smoother when you don't take any of this personal.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean,
It's the job,
that's a
man.
great point.
you guys see it. You guys are far more experienced in probably that. Whereas generally up here, juries are on our side. So it's that table has really started to turn. Whereas I think down in the city, they haven't been on your guys the state side in quite some time.
Yeah, that's a whole thing. I think. I mean, in my personal opinion, I get that the Constitution was written, but like it's a different world. Like back then, not everyone was like farmers, and everyone did. Like now, you get a jury, you have like different races, different backgrounds. So, yeah, like I don't know. We have to revamp that. I think, in my opinion.
Well, it's weird too. Like if you go to jury selection, right? Like all the questions that people are excluded for, like it's like they're trying to find these perfect people.
That's what I'm saying.
And no one's perfect.
No one's perfect.
Yeah.
Like,
and everybody has a different background. Like maybe I do get along with police, but you don't. I don't know that. You see what I'm saying? Like I think juries now, or like I think certain cases are just gonna have to be held within people that are specifically in that like right frame. Like you have to look out for that. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
It can't just be general to the public anymore.
Yeah.
Because how many people now right? Oh, my grandson was a drug dealer. Or my grandson sold, and she's gonna think about all those times he paid her rent.
Right.
And she's like, no, he's not. You know what I'm saying?
He's not a threat.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not a threat because it's like, I'm used to that. I think the laws need to catch up. And
How do you
understand.
feel about policing now? Do you know that Chicago just eliminated foot pursuits?
Really.
Yeah, in their police department.
That's a good point.
Now, what was our reasoning behind it?
Yeah, there's no more foot pursuits.
What's the rationale? Do you know?
We had that here for a while.
Huh?
We had that here for a while when bats came through.
Yeah, but I'm just saying Chicago.
In Chicago,
Shot-town.
But what's
know
the
what I mean?
rationale? Like, is it for officer safety? Is it
It
for?
can't be for
It's
officers.
not for it's for like
I'm just saying. Like, is there a reason? Because the reason why
I'm curious because I just saw.
I read it. Remember, it was like 2 guys that got killed.
I don't know, but
was a
remember that video
Got
that
a
just
bunch of
came out.
questions.
The video just came out of officers that was on foot pursuit on the highway, and the suspect, the lady that they was chasing, I didn't read it, but I saw the video. She got hit fatally by a car.
Oh, about
Doing 70 miles an hour on the fucking highway.
Yeah.
But the officers, they put their lives in jeopardy too because they're trying to chase her to put her down and get her off the highway.
Mhm.
I got to read into the story, but I saw that earlier today. Just the news feed that Chicago has eliminated foot pursuits from the police department, and I'm like, wow.
It was a study of these 2 guys.
Can I just ask y'all? So, if I'm walking down the street and y'all say, "Hey, stop," and then I just start walking briskly, as soon as I get out the car, technically that's a foot pursuit, so you can't do that. How are you gonna rest? You gonna hit him with a door or something like
No, you can't.
on
Listen,
one of the movies or something?
Just let them run.
Policing is totally different nowadays. It's
How do you arrest any? How do you
they.
arrest?
I think the departments is just trying to eliminate liability,
That's what it was like.
but it's hard to eliminate liability when you have someone with a gun, or you find these people that represent, and you can clearly articulate the difference between an armed person, knife, gun, whatever the call may be. That's policing. Like, it's gonna happen.
Right.
You're gonna get in foot pursuits.
But how are y'all liable for a person that's running on the highway?
We chased them.
This is it.
We
Right.
chased
That we chased
That's why
them.
the
But we're
news
talking
makes it
about-
look like, look at these officers chasing this woman.
Yeah.
But they don't know the overview, the big picture of why they went to a pursuit. They just see as face value. Oh, and she died. The car hit her head on and she died.
Right.
Bad police.
The thing about Chicago is these 2 guys, I think one was a 13-year-old black male and like an older Hispanic male. They both display characteristics of a handgun. They chased them, and when they brandished the weapon, police shot them.
Oh, they killed the kid.
They killed both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
It comes with playing with fucking
I don't know if
the one that
y'all
was
know,
on the night. Yeah.
I don't
saw
know.
that one.
Like, did you look at how many shootings Chicago had last weekend?
alone.
46.
Yeah.
46.
So now you're gonna let 46
People run.
run with
With
handguns.
with handguns.
Good luck.
See, I wonder if it'll increase
Littlefoot.
shootings. I wonder if it'll increase police shootings because if I know I can't chase them and I know they're armed, I can articulate they have a weapon or I see a weapon?
You
Am I just gonna
can't.
put them down?
No,
Yeah,
you know
can't.
what? What policing is gonna be fucking like
'Cause-
Walmart security.
Yeah.
Okay, no hands. No
No
touching?
hands, don't touch
You
him.
can't shoot him because when he's running away from you, the biggest defense is, well, he's not a threat if he's running away from you.
Cause I
Yeah,
can
but
see
the
Well,
law
people
says
still
if
run
it's an
away
imminent threat.
Right.
If he's like, you can
He's
choose
an
an
imminent threat
imminent
to
threat.
who?
Society.
Yeah.
That barrel.
Well, detective, he only showed the barrel when he saw your uniform. He was out here all day, never once showed the barrel.
I'm gonna sue for my
That's what
safety.
they're gonna do.
That's what
I know.
And that's when
I'm
you're
gonna
like,
sue for
are
my
you
safety.
kidding me?
And that's why you see crime skyrocketing.
Exactly.
Exactly.
People don't want to do their job.
And that's why you see more police are leaving.
I'm about
Policing
to sue for my
sucks
safety.
Did you
nowadays.
see New York City had like 1,500 people? Like,
Yeah, they left. Gone.
and they changed the policy now. They try to make them stay 25, I think.
Well,
That's not gonna.
the
I'm gonna keep
Supreme
anybody.
Court just ruled that New York's gun laws are very hostile, so they're about to change a lot of gun
Yeah,
laws.
63. I saw that.
A lot of citizens about to carry a lot more handguns.
That's the thing. Like, just I don't know.
You know, it's
Like,
It has to get worse before it get better. People want to do like
not
yeah,
everyone deserves to hold a gun,
correct, but
even though you passed the.
you all have been saying it even before the show started, and if you go back to our early episodes, y'all been saying it. It's got to get worse before it gets better, and it's sad that the good people out here have to, deal with this kind of stuff.
They're the true victims.
But they're the true victims. But the people that don't understand it and just want to be so hypersensitive until you're victimized, and I'm not talking about victimized by a police officer, victimized by being in your community, victimized by going into your house, victimized when you're at work and it's one of your loved ones and you can't get to them. And that's a direct result. And I hate to say that, but when it happens to people that we love, that's when people get it.
That's when it hits home.
Yeah, that's when it hits home.
And they
That's
always
when it
say,
really hits
where
me.
were you?
Yep.
Well, remember that time y'all were like, defund police?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I was inside.
And they took
I
everything
would have
wrong.
been there, but
They take it wrong when they say it takes gorillas to catch gorillas. They don't understand. They don't understand
but
that
you know what's
mindset.
crazy though, and it's crazy that we're going off of this. But like the greatest military writers have said that. So it's like now we're in 2022. We're supposed to be smarter. We're supposed to be, but like these people that fought centuries ago are saying if you take care of your troops, and it takes good evil men to stop bad evil men, then you will be fine. Because someone that's like, you gotta have a certain thing to go after these people.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times have we seen people try to stop a fight and then they become the victims right
Yeah.
away? But when we show up, it's like we know how to match that force. And it's like now you got a bunch of dogs with no teeth.
You know
And they
what?
know
I saw a clip the other day. Just fucked me up in a good way. Because, you got to be good crazy to do this job.
Good crazy.
And I saw Ukrainian soldiers. Yo, it was three of them inside the van. And they was trying to get away. But they was pretty much in a firefight. So they jumped in and they got up out of there. The fucking driver got hit in the head. His scalp was open. And they're like, yo, bro, you good, bro? He's like, yo, is it really fucking bleeding? He's like, nah, you're good. And it's like, yo, they're in a firefight, bro.
It's like,
And his scalp is open. And he's like, yo, it's just fucking hurting bad right now. And but they're laughing it off, but on point.
it's like, you gotta get the team away.
It's like, yo, it's crazy, but I loved it. It's like, yo, they was just with the shits. Yo, they would take, and they drive, yo, get up out of here. We got a flat, keep it moving. Oh, they're shooting at us. It's all good. Come on, keep going. We got to get over there. And just the cordial conversation in a firefight.
Yeah.
And I think that's why, like, they can't beat our military. Our military is just next level.
But
This is that
I
mentality.
mean, regardless of that, but to have the mentality
That's the mentality.
to get
yeah.
plucked and your life's on the line, and they're talking, yo, we could have fucking died right there.
Yeah.
And it's like, yo,
Those
like
civilians.
determined the will to win, the will to just
Live.
is crazy.
Mhm.
And it's like
Remember that famous cop that got shot in the neck and he held it but still kept fighting?
they kept fighting.
I think what makes
It's
the
the same.
Ukrainian soldiers different too, man, is that you got to have a ton of respect for is they're doing that stuff for their country.
Yeah.
Like they're
Yeah.
not doing it for like
Yeah.
paycheck or
No.
like free
Yeah.
college, like some people
Right.
in America are. They're doing that for their country and like their legit survival.
For their freedom.
And yeah, and their freedom and
Their
like
freedom.
like things that like we take for granted because
And they're fighting hard.
people long before us have fought that fight, and we forget what it was probably like because we didn't know, and but that they're living it, and yeah, again, it's
But that's why
crazy.
we're in the mess that we're in right now. You know what I'm saying? Because we've been
We
so
soft as a
far
country,
away
bro.
from
Mhm.
removed from that we forgot what it feels like. You know, like there's people out there like they literally take their dogs to Starbucks and get puppuccinos. And there's people.
How do you know the name?
I heard about this.
Oh, you heard about it.
I don't have any puppies. I'm just saying. Get a puppuccino.
Hilarious.
Meanwhile, this guy got hit in the back of the head. In the scalp, and it's like,
And he's trying to make it to the next stop.
right.
Like, laughing about it, too.
Puppuccino.
Yeah,
I'm trying to-
That's hilarious. Like,
That's
come on,
serious.
man.
He's
We're so
Dogs
far
be
removed.
having a motherfucking a
Is it
goddamn turtleneck sweater on and
Right.
shit. Like, what's
this
going on?
and he's holding his scalp on.
But meanwhile, like,
And he's driving
Right.
with a fucking bullet in his head.
meanwhile, in another country, that dog is food. You see what I'm saying? We over here, like, we're so far removed because, I mean, but that's also the benefit of being in a badass country.
It's just, you know, it's just policing is not what I thought it would be. I still, you know, you still have fun, and if you do the job for the right reasons, you're gonna love it. And but you just, you know, the political shit just that's why
It's too
I
much.
stay away from that arena
It's too much.
because it's like, yo, you're not here, you don't know what goes on.
It's two different.
Why would you have so much say so?
It's two different games.
It's crazy.
But I think that's like you look at a sheriff situation like Hartford County, they're elected, right? Your sheriff is elected, right? He has to answer to the voters, right? Our bosses are appointed by elected officials who they ultimately answer to, and they're basically puppets, right? They have to do what
Everybody's a puppet.
they have to do what they're told.
Right.
I mean, and that's where the problem is. No one is doing it for the right reasons in the upper echelon.
And upper lesson.
Right.
And meanwhile, we're down here taking the brunt. You know, people are throwing rocks at you.
Yeah.
People are anytime. I remember, you know, being a white cop during Black Lives Matter. I mean, you roll up on people and they're like, "Hands up, don't shoot." I'm like, man, put your hands down. Do you see my gun out?
Right.
Like, you know, it's like, but. You know, meanwhile, I'm not making these laws or these decisions. It's the people you elected. It's the people in upper leadership. I'm just out here enforcing, just like, you know, you're enforcing, you know, that I can't get, you know, 3 barbecue sauces with my fries, right? We're enforcing the rules that are given to us.
Why does that happen?
Right. You know what I mean? I'm a fat guy. I want an extra barbecue sauce.
Right.
They so
Fries
stingy
above
with
it,
it.
do what go
They so
well.
stingy with it, bro. You got like,
You know,
can I
we
get
all
like
have our
3
rules.
more?
We all have
I
our
will
law,
pay
like
for
our procedures. Like this is not. I didn't determine that you have to wear a seatbelt while you drive. Right? It's the law that I've agreed to enforce. Right? I mean,
And that's what people think, like, oh, like we're really gonna stop you from wearing. Fam, like we're telling you to wear a seatbelt because we don't want to come to that call and like scrape you off the side of the road. It's not really about the ticket. That money ain't coming to me.
no.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just telling you, like, yo, you should slow down. Because the next time, you know, I see you at the same time, now I'm like, now it's fatal. And I don't want to, no one wants to see fatal. So it's like, just put the seatbelt on or pay the ticket and move on. But they're like, oh, no, you making me wear a seatbelt. No, I'm not.
Right.
I don't
It's
care.
your life, bro.
Yeah.
That's your life. But I'm the one that has to come and write this report if I got to, you know, pick your brain off the side of the road.
I think the word compromise is a 4-letter word now, and it shouldn't be. That
Shouldn't
is
be.
literally, if you look at history, that's literally how our country is. It's a compromise. You have to come
It's a
to
compromise.
a compromise.
100%.
Somebody's going to be a 0 and 10. Just try to get as close to 5 as possible.
Yep.
And one time you may win this one, the next time I may quote win the next one, but try to come to a compromise. So find a way to say, okay, all right, if we're going to, like we said, all right, we don't want to defund, but everybody agrees that everybody loved the PAL program. So how can we get more money to do that for kids that really need these things, or an outlet for them to have, so that, you know, you can reduce something? Because a lot of these kids, when they go home, they may not have food, or they may have a horrible home. And that was their, you know, that was their outlet to go talk to somebody. But don't take money away when you know that, okay, you just took money away from all of these things, and now you see crime went up. There is a correlation. You take money, you defund police officers, crime's gonna go up. It's true. It's a fact at this point. So how, you know, so compromise to find it. Don't just be extreme on either side where everything goes this way, everything goes that way. And that's the point where, like, I feel like in everything, there's no more compromise. Everything has to be my way or somebody else's way.
Well, I think that you look at the news, man, like, you're pretty much told if you're, you know, a Republican, you're a racist. Like, if you're a Democrat, you're a liberal, and you cry a lot and you eat puppuccinos, right? But you know, but that's what we're told. We're told that if, like, you're not one, you're bad. If you're not the other, you're bad. Like, so there is no meeting in the middle at things that are just, like you said, like, you know, just you want to be just courteous and you know, nice, and let's have a conversation. And those days are over, man. It's you either agree with me, you're either with me or you're against me. And
it shouldn't be like that.
So what do you got? 2 years left?
My goal is 2. We'll see. We'll see.
Everything's going well?
So far, so good, man. I tell you, you know, when we were talking about, like, first responders, like, I when I went to Crimes Against Children, man, I had no idea how blessed kids are nowadays to have social workers, right? Kids that are in trouble and have issues and need things and are, you know, victims of crime. I went to Crimes Against Children. We were hand in hand with social workers, man. You want to talk about women. I mean, it's all of ours are women, master's degrees, licensed clinicians, like, getting paid nothing. And doing so much work.
It's the Lord's work.
Right. And I think that, like, and you were talking about, like, the PAL programs, so much of this, to me, starts with our kids. Like, fixing a lot of these problems is with our kids. And these, you need, like, you know, when people are always like, defund the police. Like, I think we can all agree there are some worthless units within our departments that we could reallocate funds, you know, to, you know, better equip us for situations where we need, you know, kids need more help, getting our kids together. But then
I need some more money, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You guys definitely do.
Yeah.
Yo, what's the program that my nephew's in that, and now he says, it's
the
like,
cadet program.
Like, my nephew, he's wanted to be a Baltimore City cop forever. I'm like, yo, go to the county, because, you know what I'm saying, talking to them, I got family members. I'm like, yo, I don't think the city. He's like, he called me like, nah, the city where I want to be. I said, that's fucking dope. I said, do it.
City cop.
I said, do it.
Yeah.
I said, and go. I said,
he
and
could do
be
it
who
when
you
he
are.
was
Right.
17.
But I wanted to test him on is whether or not, you know what I'm saying. And he said, like, he went to the county. He was like, nah, that's where I need to be.
But there are people there's city police and there are county police.
Yeah.
It's all in, you know, who you are as an individual.
Yeah, I love that.
I know I'm not county. I love it. I live in the county. Shout out to PG County, by the way.
And I'm sure you appreciate those guys.
And I love it. I appreciate every jurisdiction of law enforcement. Me, I'm a city guy.
Yeah.
I police how I police here. That shit ain't gonna work in the county.
You come to Dundalk. Dundalk, man, is a whole different world. I remember, like, when I first went in the academy, you know how it is in the academy, I don't know how it is for you guys, but, like, they're like, hey, you can pick, like, your top 3 choices of where you want to go. And they were like, hey, you should go to Dundalk. And I'm like, okay, Dundalk it is, right? And you go there, and it's like, you know, you got the people who love you and the people who hate you. And people, like, you know, they always talk about on the east side, people run. I'm not a runner. Right. On the west side, people fight. That I probably should have gone west. Right. But, you know, you're right. There's definitely a way that you can, you know, your policing style. Who you are as an individual. I mean, you need to be, like we said, tough but kind. Right.
Absolutely.
Whereas in the county, we need to be more, we're expected to be kinder tough when you need.
What's
to.
the different tax base? So I get that.
Dundalk is his own state.
Dundalk's its own state.
Yeah. Baltimore's his own country, but
How's your
Dundalk
own
is his
team?
own state.
It depends on where you're at. So I haven't in sex crimes, killing it. I've had 4 hours of overtime this year in crimes against children.
That's it.
That's it.
How much?
4.
What do you mean? You only have 4 hours?
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Is that bad?
That's horrible. I mean, I'm actually considering applying for food stamps. I mean, like it's terrible. It changed my life. It changed my life. I literally like going from SVU to CACU has been like a $30,000 drop.
I'm
Wow.
sure it is. Yeah, 4 hours won't do nothing for me.
4 hours? I would be like angry at the world.
But it's the different flow because the social workers are doing like when I was in SVU, we did all the work. I interviewed the victim. I did all the collecting, search warrants, all that stuff. Here, they interview the victims. They get them resources. They do all that stuff that we don't have to do, man. Like going to crimes against children, man, was like, I mean, it is.
Whole change of pace.
I mean, I leave on time.
Oh shit.
I mean,
It's like an actual like office job.
It is again. For the first couple of months, man, I wanted to burn that place to the ground, and now I'm like, well, just the way it is, and it's slow. And
Well, you're good with adjusting to it. Me, I'm like, you gotta send me somewhere where I get that money.
Yeah, I don't know if I could do 4 hours.
Yeah, 4 hours. That's nothing.
yeah, it's wild, right?
I'm stressed out.
Yeah, me too. So
Just 4 hours? Oh hell no!
as you see, I'm sharing a car with my daughter. So I'm like, hey, I can't afford to buy you another car right now, so we're gonna share this motherfucker. So that's just that. But that's just the choice that was made. And honestly, I'm to the point now, man. I don't know how you guys are, but like, it's becoming harder and harder to find a really good unit to go to.
I agree.
Where you can go and you have good bosses, good whatever. You got to take the good with the bad in a lot of places. And crimes against children has, again, social workers are
They're the best.
They
you guys rock.
but they are the ones doing the work. We're just there cleaning it up. But you just take the good with the bad, and the good with that is you get out on time. You don't have to put any real effort into a whole lot. It's a good way to kind of take a mental break after running and gunning for most of my career.
Yeah.
But can you elaborate? I love what you just said, where you said it's hard to find a good unit because of the bosses, and translating to football, any sports that we all play. You don't win championships. Something that John Cal said. He said organizations, and he's at Kentucky, so he's like organizations and like athletic departments win championships. Coaches and players win games. And it's the same way in all of our professions. So can y'all just elaborate on that? Because that was just what you said is important, especially in your profession, where a supervisor has your back, but is a leader, not just a boss. Just in general. In
general, if you got a great leader, sergeant, lieutenant,
and even when you play football,
right, great coach, like you'll run through a brick wall for them.
100%.
If you know how to treat your troops, you'll never have a problem.
100%.
Your job is easier. Because when we was on the streets, if we had a great lieutenant with phenomenal sergeants.
My first sergeant, now he's in Connecticut.
Right. They know how to listen.
We worked for that dude.
We worked for that dude.
He was the man.
And the thing is, it's no dictatorship. It's whatever works for y'all.
Yeah.
If everything works well for y'all, but y'all on y'all shit, give you enough rope to that you know what you're doing
right.
to make my job easier, then however it work out, let it work out. That's a great leader.
Because from that you also gain so much experience.
Yeah, you gain experience. You build that rapport, and the family, which is the cavalry, everybody in there sees that. And it just illuminates everybody. It makes them step their game up to work even harder for that supervisor because he's a great leader. I really need that day off. He needed that day off. This other coworker. So what does the sergeant do? Y'all take it. I'll come in. Don't worry about it. Mm-hmm. That shit goes a long way with your troops, man.
That was, he's talking about Gwen.
Yeah, shout out to Ryan Gwen. Love you, bro.
Yeah, we love you.
That's our guy right there.
He taught us so much, but Well, he's exactly what he said.
Yo, just
Yeah, build accountability.
And
Just
we,
like
no, and
championship
we got like
teams.
the
Like,
strongest,
yeah.
we got one of the strongest patrol units in the city.
in the city.
Everybody put up numbers, you know. Morning drugs, guns, arrests.
We all did it.
Yeah, I'm
It's count. I can't even explain the countless times we was on search warrants, search and seizures, get grabbing everything out the house.
in patrol.
And control.
In
Like
patrol.
it'd be like 5 or 6 of us, one supervisor. We good. Let's go. You got the front, I got the back. Who got the door? Who got it up top? Who watching everything? 360 covers on everything. Let's get in there and do what we got to do. I came in countless times. The county came in, and it was like, "Yo, we need on the radio. We need 3 people. Come meet us over here at this location." Don't even know the individuals from the county. But all right, what y'all need? We got the bunker. Let's go hit the door.
Yeah. Let's go to work.
But see, that's the city. We wired different. We go and we adjust and we adapt because we're so experienced in doing shit. But yo, just if you got great leaders, it makes life so much easier.
Yep. Top to bottom.
It really does.
Yeah.
It's on you.
I mean, enough said. Again,
I love to get my guys fired up.
Yeah, how do I follow up
that's
on that? I mean,
important.
I think that's. I mean, it's a. I mean, again, I gotta be real careful with this, with saying this, but right, and you know what, whatever. So, I mean, you look at a situation where like our FOP goes out and files a no confidence against our chief, right? So, you know, I think that I don't personally have any issues with her, but does it change the morale? Like if they change the morale in our department by 100 of our officers attacking our chief, right? Like you've changed it. Like she could be fantastic, but now everyone on the outside's looking in. Everyone's like, should I feel this way?
Yeah.
And I think that when you start taking shots at leadership,
Wow.
you destroy, you crumble it. You
open
erode
up
it.
Pandora's box.
You
man.
erode it. So like, yeah, if you have a strong leader, the troops are going to rally around that leader.
100%.
They're going to, no matter who takes that shot. Like to this day, you'll always remember Gwen, right? You'll always remember him for the rest of your life because he was a good leader.
Absolutely.
And I think it changes. I mean, you know, it just changes everything. It makes it work. You want to go to work.
Yeah. It makes it worse because it gets out to the public. And if you deal with family shit, you keep that in-house.
Yep.
You don't let nobody else. That's why everybody asks, about police work. Tell me this. I'm going to give you the basics. I'm not going to give you everything.
Right.
You ain't good to no academy with me. You ain't good to no diamond training course with me. You ain't been there with me when shots is fired and we got to go really get after some shit when it's time to. So you're not going to get all that. So in a secret society, it's secret in that because we're not going to give away everything. You got to earn that shit.
And that's the problem. I feel like the new so-called, I'm gonna call them bosses, they're giving everything away. And look what happens. The public
That's why
continues to take.
They take more.
Because they know, we're gonna be transparent. So you're telling me I get into a shooting, justified. You still leak my address out, so now there's people in front of my home where my kids are? What leader does, what boss does, what leader does that? You see what I'm saying? A true leader will be like, I'm not giving you that. That's what this man, like, you know what I'm saying? And that's happened multiple times because they're giving so much to the public on this transparency and forgetting about the troops that are working for them.
It'd be different if you had somebody be like, yo, stay in your fucking lane.
Right.
Why do this?
Have you seen the video of the sheriff and like they're like why like this is like just about leadership. He's like they're like, is there a reason why the officer shot him like 30 something times? And he's like, they ran out of bullets. Like
that's the one in Florida.
Yeah.
I love that. I love
Was that our guy? Was that our guy?
Yes.
Do we have any public blowback?
No.
They sit there and they take it.
Absolutely.
Because this man is standing there for
You know what? And it's not about being politically correct. He don't give a fuck.
Because
you
it's
see that his sheriffs?
Yes.
He's going to take you down. And
I love that shit.
And I love it. I think his name is Judd. I forgot his name.
Polk County.
Polk County.
Put it up, Polk County.
But he's like, I love that man. Like, yo, I don't even know.
You trying to tell me you're not going to go to work for that man?
But how quick do you instantly know that you want to work for him?
Immediately.
I would work for him right now.
And that's good leadership. Right? So
Absolutely.
it doesn't even take huge...
Because he understands good and evil. It's not about, how much my taxes are or how much. No, it's these people are bad.
Yes.
And they're killing innocent people. We have a police department that is trained to stop them from doing that.
Exactly.
Let's let them stop them.
How about that? What's his name? Triple C?
Shout out to Sheriff Grady Judd.
Grady Judd.
Oh, he's the man.
But
He's the man.
But that simple phrase, no huge overt act, right? Of like good.
He calls it like he sees it.
Hey, yo, he said they didn't have enough
Right,
I love it.
But again, you take,
He's famous for that.
you know,
He's
I mean,
famous
think
for
how many times like you see a situation and like, you know, a leader for a police department speaks out prior to knowing anything and is trying to balance that line, but is really, when it comes out of their mouth, they're against the officer.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to balance that line. This dude was like, yeah, no,
But there's
like,
no
we
balance.
need more bullets.
Absolutely.
Like,
You know,
I love that shit.
I'll give credit, and I'm sorry, I won't forget. I forgot his name, but the guy that started that whole flow was the homie from Milwaukee, the black dude.
oh, yeah.
Remember his
Clark
name?
something.
Clark. I think it was Clark. He was the first like
He
commissioner.
was from Florida.
No,
Let it happen.
Now with the
the guy
Cowboys?
from, no.
Mm.
He's
Black
Milwaukee,
dude.
yeah. He's,
Black dude from Milwaukee. He was the first commissioner to be like, we're not doing that. This is what it is. He's a criminal. I'm standing behind my people. Look him up. I want to say it's Clark because
yeah.
when
Grady Judd. He's hilarious.
I forgot what president. He's
Hey,
from
yo, if
Milwaukee.
Judd came to
Milwaukee.
Maryland, son, depending on the department, I would go.
Is he
Immediately.
county sheriff from Milwaukee? Or just
Was he a sheriff or police?
If you just put Sheriff
I wanna
Clark,
say
I
he's
bet you it comes
police.
up.
Just put like Milwaukee Police Clark. He was the as soon as you see him, you're gonna understand what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Oh,
He was the
yeah,
first
yeah,
one.
yeah,
I thought
yeah.
he was the
The Cowboy
first
hat.
one.
Yeah.
the
He
Cowboys
was the
had
first
on.
one. Was like, yeah, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
he goes on
No.
shows and just like,
Yeah.
Oh, he lets
goes
him
on.
have it.
yeah.
He goes
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. Unapologetically about it, too.
And what happened? The public will be like, and he'll be like, what happened? And then
Yeah,
they'll
it
fall
is
back.
what it is.
But when you give the public something to chew on, they're gonna take your whole arm by the time it's done.
You know what's crazy? So, like, you know, you just talk about like the giving the public stuff. Like, so just transition, right? So, 16-ish years ago, I was in a shooting, right? And
Did not know that.
and this guy ends up passing away, right? He dies, and like literally, it was like this big on the news in the newspaper, and they like Baltimore County Police shoot, you know, suspect in Dundalk, and it was like that was it. Because you didn't share anything; it was kept in house.
Your department does do a good job with that.
They let us. It was like, hey, we're gonna get some facts. If we feel we need to share them, we'll share them.
Right.
But now, man, it's like with freedom of information, with
Yeah, but
like,
now these people that get on the TV and they're like, oh, we're still investigating that. Oh, we're still investigating that. Of course you are, because it just happened 25 minutes ago. If you go on there and say, this is what happened and we're investigating,
That's it.
I'll get back to you soon. And that's it.
But think about all the people who go in there and they're like, I've seen the body cam footage and I'm disturbed. And it's like, whoa. Like,
You
I
don't
work
even know what
for you,
happened.
right? You don't even take a peek.
Remember with Mike Brown? A lot of people was like, oh, this guy just shot this kid.
Oh, yeah.
And then you see the camera, it's like, no, he damn near knocked the cop out.
Yeah, Mike Brown's trying to beat his ass.
Right. And then, how about the lady that was like, I saw the whole thing. And when they checked her phone record, she wasn't even
Yeah.
She wasn't even there. Remember that?
Yeah.
I was pretty big about it because they lie all the time.
Problem there is, from what I understand, Ferguson PD doesn't exactly have the best reputation.
I
So
mean, they should get their shit together too. But
yeah, but
we're not talking about it.
I just think
But still,
explaining, but so like with a lot of things too, like military does a good job of explaining like what's a justifiable homicide to a lot of people, and what you all call like a good shoot. Sometimes because if social media can be, as we know, good and bad. So as I say, when we were growing up, how people were kind of attached to military was like G.I. Joe, stuff like this, that, and the fourth. I always say, like, I don't know who does the PR for like the national cops or whatever, but like there's nothing where like again, like the military attached to the NFL. Attached to the NFL, this, that, and the fourth, blah, blah, blah. It became this because my father was like, when he came back from combat, it was like horrible, this, that, and the fourth. It wasn't a great welcoming home. So my friends in the 90s, the same thing. So once they started to realize, okay, let's flip PR, it literally changed. And when you talk to some of the people in military PR, they'll tell you, yeah, we had to go through things and use things just to say justifiable homicide. So when media does certain things, no, there are certain things that are justified. There's certain things that are just that.
It's hard. Y'all don't mind if I go first? It's hard to do that because when our U.S. forces, which I think is the greatest in the world, our military, they know who is the enemy. It wasn't until recent years that like we go to the Middle East and they're wearing like t-shirts. It's like, is he an enemy? All of a sudden he has a bomb. Us, we don't have an enemy. The community has never been an enemy to us. The problem is we're there to stop bad people making bad decisions. We can't go, like, if we go to the hood and I work in Northeast, there's no uniform to the guy that's selling drugs in the Northeast. You see what I'm saying? Because it's urban. So like, it's a huge disconnect. The U.S. Army or the U.S. military knows, because it's like, oh, they're wearing a red uniform, we're blue, shoot everybody in the red. That's fair game. Mm-hmm. We don't know we don't know who to shoot, because we really don't go into the communities as like, he's an enemy. No, he's just a guy selling drugs. And then who just happened to pull the gun out of me? Right. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's just difficult.
But let me ask you all, do you think...
assess and act accordingly.
Correct. But do you think that, coming from a news standpoint, to you all's point, if everybody's saying every shoot is bad, they don't understand what a good shoot is.
How do we
see what I'm saying? Right. But you see what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I would know from being around cops to explain to me exactly
but that's the problem
what that means.
When police got to say, listen, we're the specialists who will investigate it.
Right.
Correct.
You don't need to know.
And a good leader like says that, and also says no shoot is a good shoot.
Oh, here's the thing. If you want to know,
no shoot
go to a Citizens Academy that we have. They can give you our shoot, don't shoot course that you can see for yourself. Other than that, I'm not explaining shit to you because I don't have to. We're the specialists. We'll work it out. If you want to know, go to one of our courses that's held by every civilian academy in every jurisdiction. You can go there and educate yourself to furthermore know. And then so you can have a better insight.
Correct. So nationally, you see what I'm saying? If that's across the board, then that quashes a lot of that stuff. But I think what happens is, in some areas you got the Sheriff Clarks and the Sheriff Judds, and then everybody else like, oh, like you said, let me give you everybody's address. It's like, you shouldn't be doing that.
Well, it's not universal. Everybody has their own in particular gender. And that's behind closed doors that we don't know about. And we're never going to know about.
Right.
So that's why ultimately I don't take it serious. I take policing serious, but the political side I know nothing of.
Correct.
And I want to keep it like that. Because whatever I can enforce and whatever relationships I could build with rapport out there, that's what makes the difference for me. Because I get out there and actually talk to these live individuals, these civilians. And once they know me, we build that rapport, and they could just send that conversation and they could channel that to everybody else they know. They know that old police ain't bad police. And I feel great about that because I do that on a daily basis.
How does that work for you, or like in your jurisdiction?
So I think that like you said, sometimes as police we can be our worst enemies, but if you take it in the perspective of just making your impact positive for the people you encounter, right? They're going to tell someone else, I had a positive experience with you. Then, I go out and I have a positive experience with somebody, and then it keeps growing, right? I think that we don't need to go out and educate the public. I just think we need to sometimes be better advocates of ourselves, right? So we're as a secret society, right? We're not braggers, right? We don't go out and we don't go out and brag about all the really cool stuff we've done, all the people you saved, the life you changes, that kid who you adopted because you rolled up to his house and 5 days before Christmas and they don't have any presents, right? You don't do those, but you keep doing that, God's work, and keep showing that you're doing a good police officer. That's how I think you change the perspective. Absolutely. That's how you change the narrative. Like, that's how you go out and say, like, we're good. We're doing good stuff. Right. And I think that you don't need a national thing. You just keep going out and doing it, and people will see it, man.
Keep doing your part.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is it just grows.
I'm with that.
And I think you talk about good before bad, right? Start grassroots, keep building it up, people will realize we are there to do good things. I mean, it's why we do stuff in the community when we're off, or why you guys do this, right? Educating people, right? And I think that's the look. That's the look to make it better.
Well said. Any shout outs you want to give before we wrap this up?
Nah, man. I think shout out to cops, man, people, anybody doing the work, anybody trying to make the world better, whatever it is you're doing.
No, we appreciate you coming.
Yeah, thank you.
100%.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys, man.
Appreciate
I've been waiting for this.
You gotta come back home, bro.
Anytime.
Definitely.
I felt like I was with the experts, right?
You're an expert for 18 years, bro.
No, but I'm talking
Come
about
on,
the
man.
podcast expert, right? You know,
I'm
like, you just
You're
never
the
know.
legend, bro. You
No, there's no
brought
legend.
You brought down the big fish.
That's the thing, though, is that like this is awkward, right? Like you go to as cops, like I'm not one of those cops who tell stories, right?
Yeah.
Like people are like, you go with some people, man, and they'll tell you a story about the time they brought down like Pablo Escobar, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, and that's just not how most cops are. They go out and they just do it to
They
do
just
it.
That's it.
just
And that's
do
why
it
we
to
don't
do
have
it.
a script.
Yeah.
We don't need a script because we want it to be real. Come from the heart.
Yeah.
We just talk and we conversing. And while we converse, it'll lead to other different avenues. And then we'll just expand on ideas and just talk. And that's what the world needs to know. We don't need nothing scripted. It's organic. We try. What are professionals? We do this for a living. So that's why the world needs to know our opinion individually.
Yeah, I mean, someone who's, we've met like in passing, like with Beyond the City, but you definitely make it comfortable enough where you can sit. I feel like we can sit here all day and just keep
Absolutely.
And chop it up, bro.
Yeah.
It's
It's just,
individuals.
it's just a
positive.
It's great.
yeah, with no, county and city together.
Absolutely. All day.
We can't coexist.
We love each other. We love
Of
each other.
course. Brothers in blue and sisters in blue forever.
County pass. County pass.
Oh, I should
I
come
need a
out
patch too, bro.
Oh, I got you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you. That's episode 118. I want to thank my brother, Kilpatrick, Detective Kilpatrick.
Appreciate you.
County right now. He really displayed what it is to do the work. And as you listen to his expertise, he was one of the sole contributors to bringing down Wayne Jenkins. If you haven't seen Real Det, you might want to sit down and watch that.
We got the real
Kilpatrick.
The real life here.
And it's just what we bring to you guys, man. It's real life. All three of us are active detectives in our respective departments, and we serve daily. We love what we do. We inspire everybody, and we just want the best for the world, man. With that being said, we love you. We appreciate you, Dre.
Peace and love.
Triple C.
Blessed are the peacemakers.
My peoples, episode 118. We love you. Stay safe. Keep squares out your circle. Keep working hard. And get that overtime because it's worth it.
Yeah, word.
But don't spend it all up, all right? Stack some bread for a
Right.
rainy day. All right, y'all. Be safe. Enjoy your
Get the extra
weekend.
guac.
Get the extra guac. You know what I mean?
And your Chipotle.
We love you. Be safe.
The views and opinions expressed on the Silverback Chronicles podcasts are those of the hosts, producers, or the guest appearing on the program. They do not reflect the views and opinions of the federal, state, or local government. This includes but not exclusive to the Department of Defense, Homeland, and the Baltimore City Police Department. The Silverback Chronicles podcast with Dre, Big H, and Triple C. Hit the subscribe button, like and comment.